On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2015. We're going to be taking a look at 1,000 musicians all performing together Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, quick bit of background behind this one. This was all set up by a guy called Fabio Zaffanini, and he's an Italian and he wanted Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl to go over and play a gig in Italy, and this was the video that he came up with. And this is from their official channel called Rockin' 1000, so there's going to be a link in the description below as always for you guys to click on that and watch it as many times as you want. We're just going to watch the performance section, but you can also tune in to their channel and click on the link in the description below to watch the whole thing, to include the little speech that Fabio says afterwards as well. So let's get everybody up on screen and jump straight into it. And there we have it. If that doesn't put a smile on your face, nothing will. And this is the great thing about music, the way that it can bring people together, everyone pulling in the same direction, and this kind of thing would potentially give you a little bit of optimism for humanity into the future. I don't want to get too deep with everything, but it's amazing how we can come together and find just a common goal. I mean, this was just a come together, by the way. These musicians aren't getting paid for this. It's something that had been organised for everyone to get together, just to rock out together, make a great sound, have a great time. And it's just the best of humanity in a video. Just everyone getting on for the greater good. And such a great sound as well. Looking at this kind of video, I think it's Fabio who speaks at the end of the video talking about this was a year's worth of organisation every single day in order to put this together. So we get to enjoy this at the end, but looking at it from that technical perspective, just thinking what it must have taken to put this together in the first place. Because just on the angle that we get at the moment, you can get an appreciation of the band, the way that it's been set out. When I say the band, we've got 1,000 musicians here. So just let that sink in for a moment. Having 1,000 musicians that you have to try and organise to get a sound that is going to be cohesive. You've got to have some kind of tightness there. And also considering that when you have 1,000 people in a band, it means that, for example, the drummers at the back of the setup here, the amount of time it takes to reach the front where the conductor is, another huge point. There's a conductor at the front where you can see him on the scaffolding at the beginning of the video, and here it's a great over-the-top shot that we get, so we can look at each section, how it's been set up. But the conductor is getting everyone in time, so that everyone's got that visual cue. But of course, those drums at the back, the audio, or should I say the sound waves, will take longer to get to the front where the conductor is than the drummers who are now at the front of that setup. And the singers, again, they'll be hearing the drums slightly delayed from the drummers at the back, so it could sound messy. This is why you'll see a band set up behind the singers, so they're following the conductor, and it means that they're going to have at least a song, a clear version of the song right behind them that they can then sing to, and they can get it all synced up correctly in this live setting. And it must have been such a pain to try and organise this because of those delayed signals and sound waves, and the fact that they take a little bit longer to travel the further you go. Just to point out here as well, we've got the singers in front of the scaffolding. We've got, I don't know whether you'll be able to see my arrow. We can here we go. So we've got the scaffolding here with the conductor. We've got the singers here. And you might be able to see just a band set up here. And they've got the standard bass, drums, guitar, so that the singers can hear the timing quite clearly. Behind that, these are the drummers, obviously quite spread out because drum kits take up quite a lot of space. And to the left here, you can see that there's a little bit of space between the bassists because bass guitars are a little bit bigger than guitars, so you need a little bit more space for the neck. So there's our bassists off to the left, and here you can see a lot of guitarists crammed in, rocking out on the right-hand side. So you get an appreciation of the band. By the way, this is just a crowd that have gathered to watch. The drums actually start this track, so they have to look at the conductor because you come in on 3 and. So it's going 1 and 2 and 3 and. That's where you want to come in, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the one of the beginning of the song, the first bar of the song, but we've already come in on 3 and for the drums. So that's the way that we enter into it. And this is why there's a conductor at the front, because if you are relying on a backing track, again, the guys at the back are going to be hearing it milliseconds later than the people in front of them, and it's just like a chain reaction, so you'll get a really messy sound. So this is why it is a technical marvel to get such a great sound from 1,000 musicians, and this is why this kind of thing takes a year to plan and to iron out all of these details to try and make it possible in the first place. The other thing that you'll have to look out for from a technical perspective is finding the correct location to do this, because if you're producing a lot of sound waves and a lot of volume, those sound waves have got to be allowed to travel away into the distance and then effectively disappear. So you can't have any hills or sheer faces in the distance, because sound waves are going to hit those and then come back, and you'll get a delayed signal of like half a second or a second hitting something way in the distance and coming back. So location is really important to just get this to, so many things to take into consideration, but just to get this to work in the first place musically. When we're getting into the production side of things from the camera work, there are so many angles here. I'm not sure how many takes these guys would have done. It looks like that the shadows are quite long, so this shot might have been at the end of the day, but just getting the amount of shots in order to piece it all together as well, it must have taken all day. You can see that we're probably on a drone here. We'll have people on the ground with various cameras walking around and then editing that all together. Must have been insane, but it is definitely worth it. I mean, look at the final result. This is one of those videos that you can just refer back to make you feel good and to make you see, like I said, what we are capable of when we all get together and pull in the same direction. It'd be interesting to know the mic setup that they had here as well, because I don't think they would have gone through the process of miking up every single guitar amp. Probably had quite a few overhead mics picking up the overall sound of the guitar section and the drum section and the bass section. I think with the vocalists they had SM58s, it looked like, just on a mic stand, so they gathered around those, and probably quite a few of those SM58s dotted around that vocal section. Just a quick shout out to the musicians as well, because they're doing such a fantastic job here, considering the fact that there are so many of them, and it is so easy, and would be so easy, for this to sound super messy. If some of the sections are ever so slightly out, you have got that problem of the sound waves being delayed, but everyone is doing such a great job having to concentrate on the conductor at the time of playing, so looking up and making sure everything that they're playing is correct as well. So a great job done by the musicians here, but just the whole team. Just to mention something else about the drummers, and it's so cool when we see them all synchronized perfectly from some of those camera angles. But you'll notice how they've all got headphones on. And initially I thought that might be to do with the fact they've got a backing track or some kind of metronome going in order to keep that tempo exactly right. And it turns out that I think they're listening to the actual track, and it's not a metronome or anything, because it isn't a set beats per minute. And I know, because I've checked with a metronome, it kind of varies between 135, 136 beats per minute. So it means that they're listening to the original Foo Fighters track and are drumming along to it. So that's impressive in its own right, that they're keeping that good a time with the original track, because sometimes, or most of the time, when playing drums, you can't focus on a conductor at the front. You've got to focus on what you're doing on the drum kit. Just to jump into the guitar very quickly, because if there's one video that you feel like playing along with, it's got to be this one. And in terms of the playing, it's not too involved. We've got a few interesting chords going on. We've got our pretty much power chord shape is what you're going to need throughout this song. We're playing the B, and here you want to play your first finger, second fret, and then third finger, little finger. We're going to be on the fourth fret of the D and the G string, but we're going to get that kind of sound. And we're just kind of getting into our rhythm, pretty loose on the right hand. And what you want to do here is change this shape, bring the third and the little finger over by one string, and then place the first finger, second fret of the G string. So, and I'm just going from the A string here, like that. So that's the sound that you want to get. So it's a little hop over that we have. You just get your fingers to pretty much swap places. It's like a little hop. Like that. And it's down to an E for that last chord. We've then got, actually at the same time, we've got octaves and a little slide up. That kind of thing, slide up, and then a little bend with the first finger and little finger. You can use first finger and third finger, whatever you find most comfortable. For me, it's the little finger. Give it a little bend, and then slide back down. And then again. You can hear with the rhythm there, it's very much along that pick, 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 and a little flick of the wrist on an upstroke in order to catch those higher strings. Kind of like that. You want to do that on all of your chords. And then we get into what sounds like a G. And again, a kind of power chord sound here. So I'm not placing in my first finger, over to an A, and again that might just include the fifth, and you can see here I'm placing my little finger so that we don't get the B string in there, because I'm just applying the octave of the fifth that I'm playing down here, so it makes it more of a power chord and the power chord sound that you get there without that major sound, which can make it sound a little bit less offensive, maybe a little bit too nice. So you just want that power chord to kind of sit in there. You can either just hit your 3 strings, your A, fifth, and then the octave, like that if you want to, but if you want to free up that right hand, you can place in that little finger. Just to let you know that the chorus chords are the same as the intro, so... And you can place in, like I was doing there, full E or the E5, just by muting that G. And that's pretty much it. At the end of the chorus, we do have our B into a G, D, E, little run up, 2nd fret, 3rd fret on the low E string into the G again, and then we have a little A sus4, and then back to the A, and then we'll be back into the B. So we've got that. And then now we're back into the same riff section that we have in the intro. But a really cool video to take a look at tonight, and just hats off to everybody involved here, the musicians for playing so well and being so tight, but also everyone involved in putting this video together. Just a huge undertaking, but they definitely pulled it off. And go and check out Rockin' 1000 and their YouTube channel. Subscribe to them as well, because they have some impressive videos on there. Just getting 1,000 musicians together to perform at the same time is just immense, and it really does lift your spirits seeing a video like this. But thank you guys for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!